A former Bryant High School teacher has been sentenced to 13 years in federal prison. So, who is Heather Hare and what did she do? Heather Hare was a consumer sciences teacher at Bryant High School when she got in trouble. She was charged in 2023 with first degree SA. So Heather Hare met the first victim the first day of his senior year, and she then started quote unquote counseling him in one on one sessions. And look, maybe it's just because I'm, older. I don't know, but I don't even know what counseling means when it's coming from like a teacher. That being said, at some point she started communicating with him through Instagram and Snapchat before she decided to give him her personal phone number. At some point, Heather Hare told the victim that she had a dream about them having sex and she gave him her home address. Now, her home address was actually in Conway, Arkansas. According to investigators, it is believed that the victim in that case and Heather Hare had sex approximately 20 to 30 times in the 2021-2022 school year. That's 20 to 30 times between her home in Conway, her vehicle, her classroom, and the parking lots at Bryant High School. So, what Heather Hare was sentenced to 13 years for is actually federal charges. Heather Hare was charged in federal court with taking this victim over state lines for the purpose of sex. So that happened in April of 2022. She actually chaperoned a school trip to Washington, D.C. Now, on that school trip, that field trip, there were only 4 students. And the victim in the case was the only male student that went on that school trip. On that school trip, Heather Hare and the victim in the case did engage in sexual activity. So that was Heather Hare's plea deal. Now, as part of her plea agreement, she admitted that she knowingly transported the minor in interstate commerce at the time of the transportation, that the minor was less than 18 years old, and that at the time of the transportation, she intended that the minor engage in unlawful sexual activity. So Heather Hare was sentenced to 13 years in prison, and a lot of people think that federal prison sentences like state of Arkansas prison, where a person serves a small portion of their sentence, but that's not the fact. The fact is that she has to serve 85% of her sentence, and that means that she'll be in prison for 11 years at least. The federal prosecutor did give a quote saying teachers who have sex with their minor students should take note of today's sentence for Miss Hare, which reflects the consequences of abusing her position of trust and taking advantage of the vulnerability of this minor to repeatedly engage in unlawful sexual activity. Our office will continue to hold accountable those who are in a position of trust that target children and prosecute them to the fullest extent of the law, as asked by Judge Rudofsky, sentencing Miss Hare to 13 years in federal prison. In addition to the 13 years in federal prison, Heather Hare will also have a lifetime of supervised release after that, and she will also have to serve some time in federal prison. Actually, here's the deal, and I can't even kid about this. Heather Hare, in state court, she was facing 2 counts of first degree SA. Now, she could have been sentenced to up to 30 years in prison on each count. If that had ran consecutively, I mean, she could have got a maximum sentence of 60 years in state prison. But Heather Hare was sentenced to 20 years in state prison on those charges. The thing is that Heather Hare's state prison sentence is set to run concurrently with her federal prison sentence, meaning that, like, as we all know, in Arkansas State Prison, people serve far less time. That 11 years that she will serve in federal prison will probably cover any state prison time that she would have to serve. That being said, she may have to go serve a short amount of time in state prison, or maybe her sentence falls under 100%. I doubt it though. If she were to have to serve 100% of her time because of new state laws, then she would have to do another 10 years in Arkansas State. But I honestly don't think it does. And honestly, I will be the first to admit I don't even understand the new law because I've seen a lot of people that were sentenced to crimes where they shouldn't be parole eligible and they are. So I don't even freaking know what's going on when it comes to that. That being said, at least for right now, Heather Hare is headed to the federal pen. Also, I just wanted to throw this in for a little bit of clarity. So, the first count of first degree SA that Heather Hare was charged with in Saline County Court, the dates on that charge are September 1st, 2021 to June 30th, 2022. The second count of first degree SA that she was charged with went from September 1st, 2022 to December 31st, 2022. And those are two different people because their initials are different. So it's like she had one student that she was essaying for that one school year, and the next school year came around because the first one was a senior, so they were gone. So the next school year came around and she had a second one. That's just my take on it though.